guys, let's do the daily update here on Bitcoin. Not too much has changed since the day before last when I made the video. We came down into the 1618. If we do the fib extension, all this was, I'll just put it back on here again, the fib extension from, if this was a one wave right here, from the two, projecting where the three would end. 1618 is, a decent probability here. And so we've had the reaction out of that, and then also if you put like a fib retrace on here from the most recent swing up to the high, and make sure I get that right on the tick. So if we put that on the tick there, and we put the this one went pretty deep, so if we put the 707 786 on here, maybe take the 382 and the 0.5 off here, you can see it came down through the 707, not quite to the 786 when it hit the 1618, and we've gotten the reaction. And then you can also pull this back, just to see if it was maybe respecting this fib or this pull right here, since that was really like the pivot low before the major run up. We kind of went in and did 5 waves, it appears. And so that would make sense to pull the fib retrace from that level, and you can see that we came down. If you were to draw like a hot box right here between the 707 and the 1618, we came right into that zone and then had the reaction. So now that we've had that reaction, if we're going to put a 5th wave down, I'm wanting to see how this correction is going to end here. So if we're in the 4 wave right now, we don't know exactly where this is going to end. Keep in mind that we have weekly resistance currently right here. Very heavy weekly resistance. So if I scroll out, you can see that we've hit it here, resistance, here resistance, here resistance. We broke through, it was support on that wick right there. We came up, now we're back down below it, and we've wicked off of it. And it doesn't look like we're going to get above it unless we get a strong push. So if we can't get above that, then obviously we have to put in some kind of 5. Like, we're gonna have to take out this low. We'll probably put in some kind of let me flip this around. I got that inverted. We'll put in some kind of bullish divergence. Oh, I couldn't think of that. So yeah, if we did something like this and we had to come down and put in another low, basically what the RSI would do is come down and make a higher low. And so we'd make a higher low in the RSI but a lower low in price. That would give us a nice buying opportunity divergence. So this would be a nice pattern to play out right here if this is what we're going to get. And so this is what I'm kind of looking for, since we're still struggling to get above this major resistance right here. And keep in mind we have the monthly resistance still up here as well, that acted as support back here. So like wick came down to the weekly, got weekly support, closed above the monthly support, but now we're broken back down through that. So we have a lot of resistance on the way up, and so really any push that I think that we get up above here, I'm not going to really trust it too much, because we have that monthly resistance right there, and we have all kinds of fibs. So like we could get a push above this weekly resistance and still come crashing back down below, because if you pull a fib from the 2 down to where the 3 bottomed here, we'd be looking for fib clusters, like where would be some fib retracement levels that we'd be looking for. I'm going to take these back off, put the 0.5618 and maybe the 382 on here. So logically, or let's just say typically, the 4 wave goes between the 382 and the 0.5. So if this is going to be a 1, 2, 3, 4, the high probability for the 4 wave is normally between the 382 and the 0.5. Now obviously with the weekly resistance there, we can put the 236 on here as well, because we're struggling to get above this weekly resistance. So is it going to be so weak that we don't even get up to the 382? It's possible, but I do want to keep this in mind right here, that we'll have this monthly resistance and the 382 right here to act as a potential rejection back down. And so if we did something like that, then I would be kind of looking for maybe short entries on a retest like that. After faking out getting above the weekly resistance and then coming back down below, I'd be looking to short that first pullback to retest this for the continuation down for like this 5th wave. So something like that would be a good opportunity to short. And if we can't get above this weekly resistance, which for me personally, I'm just going to go ahead and be hedged short because, if we're going to struggle right here, I want to be hedged for this move down. Really, the only way that I would probably consider getting out of my hedge is if we came up, came down, held support, and then started moving up here. And once we break this, I think this level right here, which was major support, for weeks, or oh yeah, I guess a few weeks, we came down support, 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 and then we broke it. So if we can get back above that and break these fib levels, these major fib levels in here, like the 0.5 to 618 right here, if we're getting above that level and flip that to support, then I would be looking to get out of my hedge short there, because there's no telling how deep this 5 can go. So I definitely want to be hedge short when we have all this resistance right in here that I don't know that we can get back above. But if we, for whatever reason, we do recover and get back above that resistance, I would probably be getting out of my hedge short. And if any of you are in the Discord and you're watching the flow strategy as well, the flow strategy is a good gauge for market trends. So, that is calling for a short right now. I think it's been calling for a short basically since right in here somewhere. And so really we would have to probably get back above this level at least before that's going to flip back long again. And just wait for confirmation on a price action perspective. Just looking at this structure back here, I would wait until we cross that really to be bullish, and for this to continue and for us to take out the highs back here. So that's currently what I'm looking at. I'm definitely have a short bias. I think we're going to get something like this. Like best case, we come up maybe to the 0.5 and then we reject down and we come down like this. That's kind of what I'm thinking best case is right now. I don't know if we're going to have what we need to recover from this, but obviously if we do and I'm wrong, I'll wait until we get back above here and then look to get out of my hedge short. I'm not going to take any leverage positions on a swing trade here, but I just want to hedge myself short in case this really decides to tank, because I mean, depending on what the stock market does, the stock market could really bring this down. And in the last video I showed how we were correlated to the S&P 500, and if the S&P 500 decides to take a dive, it's going to pull Bitcoin down. It could pull it down into the 8,000 range. So I definitely want to be hedged short in here with all this resistance up above. We can go over and take a look at ETH real quick. I actually have the strategy pulled up here. Let me take that off. And let's look at ETH on the, well, I guess this is a good time frame right here. If you notice, ETH has sold off just like everything else, sold off much more harshly because it had such a big run up before the sell-off. And if you're looking at it from a support and resistance perspective, we're basically right at resistance. You see all the support that we've had in here, and now we flip that to resistance. So for ETH, we would have to get back above this for us to look like we're going to hold bullishly. But even when we do that, you still have some fib levels to have to worry about here, because when you have such a strong sell-off, the algorithms are going to really be trying to reject the price action right here, the 0.5 and 618. And so even though we do get back above here, it could still come down and then have a false breakout where we get back below this resistance that was flipped to support, and then we could have a deeper retrace. So these are some levels I'm keeping an eye out for. But at least for ETH, if we get above here, I would probably be trying to, at least when we first initially break this level, what you can do is go down to like a lower time frame, and like the instant that we break this level, you would be looking for any kind of pullback. And so you're not looking for like a long-term pullback like this. What you would be looking for is more of a run up like this, and then a quick pullback back down, and then it kind of goes up like that. And then the price action has more waves in it, obviously, but the grander scale would look something like that. And so I would be looking for a break on volume here, and then I would be trying to long a pullback into that should be support now, and then maybe try to play a move up to the fib levels of resistance up here, to see what happens. And so that could be a shorter term trade that I would be looking for. But currently we have to see if it can even get above this resistance level, because we have resistance here on ETH, and we're sitting at resistance on Bitcoin. So there's no guarantee that we even get through the resistance on either one of these if the stock market decides to sell off again. I think that's pretty much it for this video, and I'll see you guys next time.